Hmm. Oh. All right, good afternoon or morning, everyone. This is Christina Cote and Wonder Twin Gail McGee. We actually recorded our Trello meeting, Trello Focus School lead meeting for our first milestone task, which is reviewing the SPP and the budget and the intervention attachment this morning. However, yay for technology, the recording crashed on us, so we weren't able to render that successfully. So Gail and I are going to do another recording for your benefit. Of course, you know where to find us. You can give us a call or email if you have any questions, but we're going to kind of run through the pieces that we shared in our agenda this morning with the folks who were able to attend. So hopefully right now you can see, let me just make sure I've got the right screen selected. Yep. Hopefully you can see our agenda. I'm going to talk quickly. We're going to go over the Trello project management tool. I'm going to talk a little bit about what the purpose of the tool is. You should have received an email address. If not, shoot me out an email and I will add you to the board if it makes sense at this time.
No, your face is on there.
It is? Okay, hold on. Let me make sure. I'm going to change up screens here for a second because it sounds like we might not be. Alrighty. So let's see if we can get this to work. Alrighty, so hopefully you're seeing the correct screen.
I'm going to unmute me. It's still you.
Yeah, hold on.
Oh, there it comes.
Alrighty. Sorry about that. Technicalities there. All right, so again, let me just review again. So we're going to go over just quickly this agenda, and hopefully you can see it. We're going to go over the Trello project management tool. I'm going to hopefully receive an email that has an invite. When you click on that invite, you're going to get an area that says for you to create a password. So please create a password, and then I would suggest bookmarking, and I'll go over that when we go through the tool. Just kind of talk about the user interface basics, how the tool works, the purpose of it, and such. And then Gail's going to kind of talk you through the first milestone, which is reviewing the school performance plan, the budgets, and the attached intervention attachments for this fiscal year. And so that's going to continue, and we'll just end. We won't have any questions and answers, obviously, but of course, if you have any questions or questions, you can feel free to reach out to Gail or I or Janie or whomever. But Gail and I would be your first point of contacts. So let's go ahead and begin. I'm going to go ahead and close out this presentation. This is the Trello toolbar. I did add most of the leads who are already on here, and then a few people who are partners as well. You should have received an email. Check your, hopefully it's not in your spam folder, but it should say like from Trello. And if not, let me know and I can shoot you the Trello board web address again, and you can get into it that way. But as I mentioned before, once you go get that link, that's going to ask you to set up a password. Click, simple password, save it somewhere, and then I would bookmark it. Bookmark this site because you will be using this site whether it's for this milestone or for the mid-year monitoring or the end of the year monitoring. So Trello is a very simple navigation board which has an easy collaborative workspace so that we can see at a moment's notice where everyone is. As you can see, there's kind of three main tasks for this milestone. The first one is prep prior to SPP intervention and budget review. The second is SPP interventions and budget review tasks. And then the last is the accepted, this is the last milestone, which is the accepted SPP interventions and budget. There's underneath each of these columns are these kind of cards, and you can kind of think of them as like a sticky note. You know, I don't know if you ever worked in a project where you might have had a board and you write kind of like categories and you put little sticky notes. Well, that's kind of how this web-based tool works. Each of these little cards can be moved from column to column, depending where you are in the process, as well as you can click onto the card and see more details. So for example, if I'm Dina, I could click on Dina's card right here, and it says the school that she's been assigned for this task. And I click on the card itself, and you can see that it has some more additional detail. It's got directions on how to use this. So below is a simple checklist for focus school leads to use during their focus school performance plan review, which is this milestone. Once you've completed each task, click the corresponding box to the left of the description. When each task is completed, the completion percentage will update. So underneath in her card for each school, she's got this like checklist that was created that kind of help you kind of stay on task and what to look for this this review milestone. So for example, the first one says gather the following checklist items prior to conducting a review. All documents are located in the equity folder, and then it kind of gives you the path. If you don't have access to the equity folder, we're going to try to either email you your documents, or we might put it in a shared drive. We heard about a shared drive that that everyone has access, so we might put it in one of those too. So I believe there's probably only a couple of you who don't have access to the equity folder. Tracy, I think you're one of them, and Diane, you might not as well, and there might be a few others. But let's say I've done that. I'm going to just click the box to the left, and as you can see, it starts to update my progress bar. So I can continue to click as I go through all these different tasks. And then when I get to a certain point, it's going to tell me to move my card over. So for example, this one says, when you've completed the prep prior to SPP review checklist items, select and drag this card to the SPP review task column. So I'm going to click that. And I'm going to X out of my card there. And then I can move Dina's card to click and drag to the next column, which would be actually doing the review task. I've done all my prep work. I got all my documentation. Now I'm ready to actually do the review. So that's kind of an example of how these cards work. Again, I would continue on with the checklist. And when I'm at the bottom, I would, again, after everything has been checked off, I would move that over to my final destination, which is my SPP has been accepted for my school, as well as the interventions and the budgets have been approved. As you can see, if all the tasks are checked off, you'll see 14 out of 14. Dina's, I only checked out 9, so it's only showing 9 out of 14 checks. So it's a quick visual and say, oh wait, you didn't actually finish everything. Please go update your card. The other thing I wanted to show you is if you wanted to, you can add a due date to it, to your card if that helps you keep on track. You can also print out your card. Some of you might be a little bit more tactile and want to kind of have that next to you as you're reviewing. Whatever works for you works. Or if you wanted to add a little note to this activity, like for example, my school is, one of my schools is McGill and White Pine, and they're all gone. They're, small district, and they weren't able to, they didn't turn in their application on time. So I just got an email from the principal, and he said, hey, I just got back, and I'm going to try to get this to you by like July 21st. So I can write a little note, like Robert will have SPP and application sent by July 21st. And then I can save that note. Now, if I click out of the note and I forget to click that comment, it'll save it kind of in a ghost type manner. So you actually have to press that comment to make it work. So Dina, sorry, I just added that. But actually, I can delete it. There you go, delete the comment. So it's kind of a foolproof system. It's really hard to kind of break it, so don't worry. And there you go. The other thing I wanted to show you on the very first card, let me get out of Dina's so she doesn't get mad at me by messing with her card. I'm going to put that back over where it belongs. The very first card, SPP Preview Prep Resource card. So each of the first cards have kind of like just the task related to that column. If you click in that first card, there is a blank SPP focus intervention budget rubric there that you can download if you want to. We also have it in the equity file as well. So either place, if you need it there, you can click it right there, download it, and Gail will show you that here in a second. The other thing I wanted to talk about the board. So this board is really going to be, I put the names next to the schools. So you just find the school that you're assigned and go ahead and click and go through the tasks for there. But if you are not assigned to school, let's say you're a focus school partner, and you're reviewing this, you know, if time allows, I would definitely work with your leads so that you have a better understanding where the school's journey is. But we really tried to pick the leads from last year just because they kind of knew how the end of the year monitoring conversations went and where the budgets should be looking, you know, what were those discussions like to kind of frame for this next fiscal year. So that's why we kind of picked these specific leads to do this first milestone. Moving forward, however, there might be some changes on which schools are led by which people as well as partners. So I would encourage everyone just to kind of get familiar with Trello, because if you're not using it for this first milestone, we'll definitely be setting up 2 more boards, one for the mid-year monitoring, which all of you will be involved in, as well as the end of the year. Did I miss anything, Gail?
I think you're good.
Okay, then if you have any questions about Trello, if you're having any problems getting into it, feel free to shoot me an email. Otherwise, I'm going to turn the ball. We don't really have a ball. We're just gonna, I'm going to move out of the way and let Gail go ahead and present the next tasks.
Okay.
So, and I'm going to, yep, I'm going to pull it up for you. There you go. Okay.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
All right. So I'm going to start by introducing you into the rubric so you see what it looks like. So move it over here.
Yep, you got to move everything to the other screen. Yeah, then you can make it real big.
Now they can see it?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So now you're looking at the rubric for the school performance plans, including the budget and the focus intervention plan. So it all needs to align. This is actually a blank one, and we've left it blank because it had some formatting issues. So if, let's just say, I'll just show you an example right now. The comprehensive needs assessment on the SPP needs revision. You just click in the box and go up to the bullets, and you can add a check, and it appears. So that's all we are expecting you to do. And then down in the, your mouse is even different. How do I scroll down? That one? Oh, it's the opposite way. Thank you. So under the needs, the comprehensive needs assessment, if it needs to be revised, if you click in here and then go in and fill it with the shading, you can just make it gray. That's fine too. So it's just really visual, but the front page is the important one. And under the comments, so if it did not meet the needs assessment needed revision, you would add a comment over here that it needs to be updated. And so we're going to send this one and one with the comments already in it, so you'll have a sample. That'll come out soon. So we'll go back to the, if I, her mouse is opposite mine. Okay. So here's the front page. It's all the information that you really need is going to be on the front page, and the detail will be in the back pages. So can I minimize this one over here too? All right, now we're going to go to, we'll open the SPP first, which is this one. No, it's not. That's the one that's completed. Hold on. Maybe this one. Then I have to drag it over there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So all of these documents that we're viewing today are found in the equity file, as Christina said earlier. And So this is Craig. So we're going to use Craig today, Lewis Craig, as an example. And all of these documents are in the equity file under FY15 Focus Schools. And then just click on your school and everything should be in there. So the first thing you want to do is...
Would you make it about 100% up there?
Make it bigger.
Yeah.
There we go. So the first thing you want to do is look at their comprehensive needs assessment and read what is down here to see if it's updated. And as you can see, this one is not. So they have 2011 and 12, they refer to it, and the most recent thing is there's 2011 again. So this is obviously just copy and pasted from last year or even the previous year, so it'd be last year. So this all needs to be updated. So that makes it difficult to see if everything is aligned because this is not current. So we'll move on to the next page, which is the opposite way. So the next thing you want to look at is their priority need goal. Does this reflect back to their comprehensive needs assessment? And this is Clark, and so all of their priority need goals are the same. And so they're very generic, and so this goal is fine. It doesn't have a percentage because that's down in their measurable objective. So this would be fine. They don't need to revise it. But if you look at their root cause, the root cause has to reflect back again to the comprehensive needs. And since the comprehensive needs to be revised or updated, so does the root cause because it might change. This part down here under measurable objective is also outdated information because everything relies back on the NSPF, and so this is outdated, so they need to revise that again. Now, most of the people in Clark have actually, they didn't have the current information, but they've gone ahead with their action plan because they usually know by the end of the year where they're going to go forward to. So this one says all teachers will participate in 2 hours of STP, and so this all looks fine. You go over here to this part, what are their resources? They're going to hire a learning strategist. So just review this whole row, the monitoring plan, the action plan, and the monitoring, and see if this part aligns to what they're saying in the budget, which we will go back to right now. All right. So their budget is in their folder for the school. So we're going to look at their budget, and it looks like most of it is going into salaries and fringe benefits, of course, and then they have some books and a little bit of software. Check their total amount here to the total amount in the SPP, which I will do in a minute, but I'm going to go forward with this. Uh-oh. This isn't trying to be helpful.
You can do it.
Oh, thank you. Go back, thanks. Okay, so you start looking and you dig a little bit deeper and you see that they're going to spend their money on substitutes. They have licensed extra duty. They're going to give their teachers a stipend. And so all of this information here should connect back to their plan on the SPP. So if they don't mention that they're going to use substitutes for, ELA interventions with their students, if they don't mention what they're going to use extra duty pay for in their action plan, then that's where you call it out. So I'm going to go a little bit further. and look at books and periodicals. They're using it for training their teachers on how to read IEPs. No, resources as for reading to IEP students. Common Core resources. Keep going, and here's the software that they mentioned before. So they're going to purchase successful reader software licenses. So this would be a resource that they should mention on their action plan as a resource. Indirect costs, don't worry about that. Okay. We'll go back to their intervention plan. And you can review what the lead person said in eNote last year at the end. That should correlate to this intervention plan. So if somebody randomly buys iPads and there's no, I mean, they spend most of their money on iPads and there's no mention of that plan in eNote and there's no mention of how they're going to use them, how they're going to track, if it increases student achievement, then call it out and don't approve their budget. Who's gonna like speak to the audience and there is an audience. All right. Is that good? Am I forgetting anything?
Show the on the. I would go back to the rubric and show the budget areas because that's our first.
All right. So we have this is the one that's completed.
No.
This is the one.
Mm-hmm.
Final.
Yeah.
There it is. Okay. So we'll go back to one that's completed. This is Craig that we did this morning. So their priority need goal is okay. Like I said, it's Clark, it's generic, but your schools may be different. If you feel like they need to revise it, then they do. And on the front page, it's divided to priority need goal 1 and 2, and most people don't do 3, so you don't need to do anything. Down here on the budget, this budget right here is the budget that's in the SPP on page 9. And you want to check those funds against the e-page funds, the total amount, to see if they're the same. Their focus budget and the additional one that we just looked at, those numbers should be the same. So let's look down in our comments. If you approve it and it meets requirements, you don't need to make a comment. But over here, this one needs to be revised because they don't have anything current. And the same thing, that because that's not current, it will affect the root cause and the measurable objective. And it also affected their action plan because that will definitely change. Their budget was fine. All the resources were named. And, oh, I forgot one page. This is kind of funny because we were talking about this morning, and there's a page called the Title I Requirements. It's a compliance issue. And I was trying to explain that most people are used to this page and they know how to fill it out. So really just make sure they filled it out. And sure enough, Craig left it blank. So they need to fill it out. And down here is does the e-page budget, which is the big one we just looked at, does that align to their intervention plan and their SPP? And yes, it did. And then this one is their intervention, and does that all align? So after you get all 4 of these documents and you read that, you'll be really familiar with where this school is headed, and you can conditionally approve if you don't like something in there. Let's just say they ask for all kinds of iPads and you don't remember them ever talking about iPads last year, then you can just say You can reject it and say rewrite it, or you can say conditionally improve and explain how you're going to use those or track them to see if they increase student achievement. And I think that's about it. And contact us anytime for a review, or if you want a one-on-one, we can walk you through it. So thank you.
And just to kind of thanks Gail for going over the SPP piece. We actually kind of cranked through many of these today, didn't we, Gail? Mm-hmm. So let me really quickly show. Move this over. 1 second, please. So this is the equity file that Gail was mentioning, where we keep all the forms for your review. Again, if you don't have access to the equity folder, let us know and we'll make sure that you get the materials that you need. But you're just going to go into the FY15 Focus Goal folder. And then there's a blank SPP right at the top that Gail showed you, and then you just pretty much find your school. So if you're doing 100 Academy of Excellence, you should have the different documents in there. There was a big push for us to get all Clark's budgets in today. So Gail and myself, along with Leslie Nelson and was there anyone, Janie, I think before she left, we kind of cranked out the budgets, the e-page budgets for Clark. So if you're a lead for Clark's schools, you probably will already see a rubric in your folder that's not completed, but just the budget part will be completed. So you can kind of get an idea. If there are some comments as we were kind of aligning and looking at SPP or intervention callouts that we saw, like Jane, I know we put, I believe, at least 1 or 2 comments on one of your SPPs, one of your schools, and I think we might have done one for Tracy too. Like we saw, hey, take a look at this when you write out your approval for your SPP or your intervention. You might want to call this out. But basically, that's where all the documents are. There's also kind of a naming convention that's listed in here when you save your school rubric. If you can save it in this format with your name at the end, so we know who reviewed it, or like in the future, that sort of thing. As well as Trello, I'll be setting up a meeting probably the last week of July, just as a touch base, make sure that everyone's on track and everything's okay. In Trello, you can see quite a few cards, quite a few schools are already done. Most of these are Clark, but there are a few that are kind of in the progress or just haven't started because you were all busy this week. From deadline perspective, we're trying to get budgets, and I think we mentioned this last week during our focus school kickoff meeting, that the budgets are kind of the key thing that we're trying to get approved right away. So we're looking, our target date is this Friday, the 18th. So if anything, if you could at least go through the rubrics and let us know if the budget's approved or conditionally approved. Did you talk about the conditionally approved?
Yeah, I think so at the end.
Okay, so if it's conditionally approved, what do they need to do in the comments, and how much funding can they access if you want to give that. I think we gave like 50% for the ones that had some needs, some issues that they still need to correct it, or it could even be less depending on how large revisions that they have to do. From the SPP and the intervention review piece, so that the whole package, this whole milestone is done, we'd like those to be wrapped up by the end of July or August 1st, which is a Friday. So we'll send those dates out. You should have got those dates in an email previously, but we'll send that out along with this recording to everyone so that you have that at the touch of your fingers. And I believe that is it. I think that's pretty much the gist of the main goals that we wanted to kind of cover over with you all today. Sorry that this meeting didn't work out for everyone. Everyone's very busy, we understand, so hopefully this was helpful just from a communication perspective. And if you have any further questions, feel free to call or reach out through email to Gail and or myself. So should go pretty smoothly. I don't think it took us, once you get into a role, it goes pretty quickly. It should, I think Homa did hers in about, an hour or so today. And so I don't think it's going to take you very long, but, schedule that time out. And if you have any concerns or roadblocks, let us know as soon as possible, please. All right. Well, thanks so much for your time, everyone. And we will talk to you soon. Take care. Say bye, Gail.
Bye.